Welcome back to the Stretford End, everyone. And here we are, ahead of another Premier League game. This is your Chelsea match preview. And of course, a bit of a difficult one. We have to think about it. We have to look at a lot of changes that can be made. Two games off the spin, losing to Liverpool, losing to Gunners. Now we face Chelsea at home. We need to perform better. I mean, even though Champions League is gone, what have we got to show for ourselves in terms of pride? We're playing at Old Trafford. We will be demanding a win as Manchester United supporters. We don't want people to come into our backyard and win us. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, Thomas Tuchel is a wonderful coach. He's done amazingly well at Chelsea in such a short span of time. But they are having a few problems with just an FA Cup final to play for. The league for them is basically just racking up as much points as possible. They've got third place locked down. I don't think that whoever will be fourth place would be able to catch them. But they're going to be a strong outfit, definitely. Perhaps Antonio Rudiger would be back after, agreeing a deal with Real Madrid. There was rumors that he was going to come to us after his agent done a bit of dirty work there, but perhaps that was just, teasing Real Madrid and giving them a bit of incentive. But how do we look at the game? How do we approach the game? It's difficult to say really because we don't know what type of performance we're going to get. Ragni doesn't know which players to trust. It was said in the media that Maguire, Shaw, Bruno Fernandes, they are not seen as toxic players in the dressing room. So it's basically one of those things that we need to understand that even though it's not for us to try and figure out what type of performance we'll be getting, it is rather for us a moment to look at what we should be leveling ourselves up to. Let's take Chelsea as a beginner blueprint. Yes, I say beginner because we basically have to rebuild. As I've said in the previous video, Ten Hag has begun his rebuild. But now, in games like this is the bar we need to set ourselves. This is where we need to test ourselves to see exactly how far we can go as a team in terms of development in the future. We have to look at the various tactics that Chelsea can use against us. Of course, we know Tuchel plays a 3-4-3, but when out of possession, it easily becomes a 5-4-1. How do we counter that? We know that they can sit back and defend. They are one of the most toughest defenses this season. So how do we break them down? We can try going wide, trying to isolate their left back and right backs, their wing backs. Of course, we can look at perhaps Tuchel playing Reece James if he is fit and ready to play. But in all fairness, if Reece James plays, he's going to be pushing us back because for sure Teles will be starting. So how do we look at another performance from Teles? Well, had a poor showing against Mohamed Salah, had a poor showing against Bukayo Saka. Now he has to face someone like Reece James and potentially Kai Havertz as well, who likes to drift to the right-hand side to cut in on his left foot. Hakim Ziyech could even be starting for Chelsea, and he can cause trouble for Alex Telles. So we know for the fact that we have a weakness on the left-hand side, and Chelsea does have a strength on the right-hand side. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how Telles would stack up to Reece James, to Hakim Ziyech, to Kai Havertz, etc. It's going to be interesting as well in midfield. We know Chelsea likes to play with Kante and Jorginho, but they have Kovacic as well. Mason Mount, who also plays in midfield. It's one of those games where even though we're playing at home, we potentially might not have as much possession because Chelsea are a better footballing team than us. They have a better midfield. They have players who are confident to get on the ball and to play. how we approach the game. Once again, mentality comes into play. How will we approach the game? How do we try and impose ourselves at Old Trafford against Chelsea? We need to be confident on the ball, first of all. We need to show aggression, as we all know is possible, but these players tend to not want to bring it out. We don't even know who's going to be starting. I mean, in my opinion, who would you start? It's difficult to say because none of these players, bar Ronaldo and David de Gea, maybe Varane to a certain extent, players such as Fred, McTominay, these players have showed heart, have showed fight, have showed desire. But the rest, we are very, very unsure. We cannot trust them. For all Wan-Bissaka's great defensive abilities that he has shown before, it's been non-existent this season when he's played. So even though we don't know who we can actually put into a starting 11, we need to look at a starting 11 that can go out there and win the game. And I want to give you mine right now. So, of course, David de Gea in goal, that goes without saying. Now, in the centre-back positions, this is where it gets iffy. Varane and Lindelof did well against Arsenal. They did well. I would want to see Bailly and Varane play, but I don't think we are going to be seeing that, especially after what Bailly has done on Instagram. So, for me, Varane and Lindelof needs to be starting again. They are a very, very good partnership. Of course, left back will be Alex Telles. And at right back, I would like to see Diogo Dalot play again. He does offer us something going forward. Against Arsenal, he had chances, hit the crossbar, hit the post. So he does offer us something positive going forward. And I would love to see him actually get forward against Chelsea. Because in all honesty, if Marcos Alonso plays, he should be getting joy. Marcos Alonso is not as fast in terms of pace and is not that good defensively. So he should be able to get past Alonso and actually get beyond him and get crosses in the box. Yes, he will have Azpilicueta, as a left centre back, trying to cover Alonso. But surely, I think he can definitely take on, Azpilicueta and Alonso as well. In midfield, I do not want to see a change, in all fairness. In honesty, I would like to see Fred, Matic, and Bruno starting again. Sorry, not Fred, McTominay, Matic, and Bruno. I know that Fred is returning to training, and I know that he could potentially start. And if he is fit, Ragnick probably will play him and McTominay. But I would like to see McTominay, Matic, and Bruno playing again. They did quite well in huge moments, in large periods of the game against Arsenal. So I would want to see the two of them, be behind Bruno, allowing him to play freely. And of course, on the wing, I'm going to again go with Elanga, Ronaldo, and Sancho. And the reason being, they did quite well up front, and however, were not clinical enough, but did well and should have gotten more out of the game. Elanga was fouled by Tavares and should have gotten a penalty. Sancho as well with Cedric, handballing the ball in the box. That should have been a penalty as well. So they can cause problems to the opposition. Sancho can cause problems to Reece James. I'm 100% sure of that. And, we need to ensure that we actually are aggressive, that we show fight, that we show a desire to go out there and win for Manchester United, win for the fans. They pay money to be there. So please, go out there and win. De Gea in goal, Telles, Varane, Lindelof, Dalot, McTominay, Matic, Bruno, Ronaldo up front, and Elanga and Sancho on both either wings as they will be switching throughout the game. That is the starting 11. And that is just my own opinion in terms of the way this game is going to go. It can either be an open game depending on how we set up. If we expose ourselves, Chelsea will punish. That is for sure. If we don't close them down, they can play through us. They have the players with the technical ability to do so. They can knock it quite quickly. They can play in tight spaces. We need to ensure that we close those spaces, that we don't allow them the time on the ball that they want, that we pressure them and press them from the front. We push them to make mistakes. If Antonio Rudiger doesn't play, then the defense is definitely weaker. Yes, Thiago Silva is there, but he doesn't have the pace. He's got the intelligence to position himself well, but we can't basically get at them with pace. They do leave space in behind because they do play a high line. We can expose that. We can get in behind and score. We just need to be confident on the ball, and we need to be aggressive when we are not in possession. It's that simple. It's going to be an interesting game, in my opinion, really, because even though I gave a predicted starting 11, it's still not 100% sure who's actually going to start. We don't know what Ragnick is thinking. He's came out and he's, called out these players for their lack of ability, their lack of fight, their lack of desire, their choice not to work hard and listen to his instructions. It's going to be interesting to see how they perform in front of Old Trafford. But I thank you guys for joining me, and I thank you guys for watching the video thus far until the end. You guys are absolutely awesome and amazing. Our goal is 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Definitely join the community, subscribe to the channel here at the Stretford End. Links to our various socials in the description below. And of course, that is it, me, Sashin Johnson, your host from the Stretford End. Till we speak again soon, Red Devils. Bye-bye.